Life Story published more than 35 obituaries in January. That's just more than one per day. But there were a lot more celebrity passings that we weren't able to note for one reason or another. So let's do a brief recap of the stars that went out in January. On January 1st, Gregory Peter de Paulnay died at the age of 82 in France. He was an English actor, director, and voice teacher who was noted for his work on stage, radio, and television in the UK and in Australia. On January 1st, John Langdon, an American graphic designer, ambigram artist, painter, and writer, died at the age of 79. Victoria Jones, daughter of American actor Tommy Lee Jones, was found unresponsive in the hallway of a San Francisco hotel in the early hours of January 1st. Paramedics responded just before 3 a.m. and declared her dead at the age of 34. Diane Crump, a trailblazing icon of horse racing, died January 1, 2026 at the age of 77, having left an indelible mark on the sporting world. She was the first female jockey in the Kentucky Derby. Conrad Allen Peterson, an American visual effects artist, most known for being the special effects supervisor for 1968's 2001 A Space Odyssey, died on January 2nd at the age of 91. Also January 2nd, Martin Margolis, known professionally as Johnny Legend, an American rockabilly musician, film producer, actor, and wrestling manager, died from complications of a stroke and heart failure in Newport, Oregon at the age of 77. Sidney Henry Kibrick, an American child actor, most notable for appearing in more than 24 Our Gang shorts, died at the age of 97. He was the last living actor who played a featured Our Gang character. January 3rd, Samuel Oziah Tier, an American doctor and academic who was an authority on internal medicine and kidney disease and was also known for his expertise in national health policy, medical education, and biomedical research, died at the age of 88. Also January 3rd, Robert Carl Tannenbaum, who was an American trial attorney and novelist and former mayor of Beverly Hills, California, died of cancer at the age of 83. Broadway alum Brett Hannah Shuford died January 3rd at the age of 46. He'd been battling cancer. His credits include Wicked, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Beauty and the Beast, and The Little Mermaid. January 4th, Stephen G. Sheets, president and CEO of the Sheets convenience store chain, died at the age of 77 due to pneumonia while fighting a long-term leukemia diagnosis. Michael Edward Reagan, the adopted son of former President Ronald Reagan and conservative political commentator, died of cancer on January 4th at the age of 80. George Cabot Lodge II, an American academic and politician, died January 4th at the age of 98. In 1962, Lodge was the Republican nominee for a special election to succeed John F. Kennedy in the United States Senate, but he was defeated by Ted Kennedy. Andy Friendly, the first producer of the long-running syndicated Entertainment Tonight and the son of the legendary CBS newsman Fred Friendly, died January 4th at his home in Bel Air. He was 74. Al Simone, also known as L. Simone Scott, an American chef, culinary producer, test cook, and food stylist, was the first black woman to appear as a regular host on the PBS television show America's Test Kitchen. She died at her home in Boston on January 5, 2026, at the age of 49 of ovarian cancer. Robert Jesse Pulford, a Canadian professional ice hockey player who played for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Los Angeles Kings in the NHL, died January 5th at the age of 89. Juwan Oldham, a 7-foot center who played 10 NBA seasons and helped anchor championship basketball teams in Seattle as a teenager, died January 5, 2026 at the age of 68. Thomas Harry Chironis Jr. was an American television director and producer, best known for his work on Seinfeld, where he directed 81 of the 86 episodes of the first 5 seasons. Chironis died from Alzheimer's disease at his home in Oregon on January 5, 2026, at the age of 86. Aldrich Ames, an American CIA counterintelligence officer who was convicted of espionage on behalf of the Soviet Union and Russia in 1994, died in federal custody on January 5, 2026, at the age of 84. He served a life sentence without the possibility of parole in various federal prisons until his death at the Federal Correction Institution in Cumberland, Maryland. Edith Marie Flanagan was an American chemist known for her work on synthesis of emeralds. She died January 6, 2026, in her hometown of Buffalo, New York. January 6th, John Cunningham, an American actor with credits including One Life to Live, Dead Poets Society, and Blue Bloods, died at his home in Rye, New York at the age of 93. Jack Edwin McGregor was an American politician who served as Pennsylvania State Senator from Pittsburgh and was the founder of the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins. He died January 6, 2026, at the age of 91. Jimmy Ray McBride was an American country music songwriter who wrote 5 #1 songs, 10 top 10 singles, and 18 top 40 singles. 2017, McBride was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. He died January 7, 2026, at the age of 78. William Frederick Truax, an American professional football player who was a tight end in the NFL for the Los Angeles Rams and Dallas Cowboys, died January 7th at the age of 82. Glenn Henry Hall, a Canadian professional ice hockey goaltender who played with the Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks, and St. Louis Blues, and set a record with 502 consecutive games played as a goaltender, won the Vezina Trophy 3 times, and was awarded the Calder Memorial Trophy as Best Rookie in 1956, died in Stony Plain, Alberta on January 7, 2026, at the age of 94. Dolores Ashcroft Nowicki, a British occult writer, third-generation psychic, and esoteric practitioner, died January 8, 2026, at the age of 96. Christina Roberta Packer, a British stage director and actress based in the United States, died January 9th at the age of 87. Bill Millar, an English visual effects artist who won a Primetime Emmy Award and was nominated for 1 more in the category Outstanding Special Visual Effects for his work on the television program The X-Files, died January 9, 2026, at the age of 79. Betty Ann Chandler, a beloved soul, passed away on January 9, 2026, at the age of 108. Born on August 17, 1917, she graced this world with her presence for over a century, leaving behind a legacy of compassion and inspiration. Bob Weir, an American musician and songwriter, best known as a founding member of the Grateful Dead, died January 10th at the age of 78. Eric Anton Paul van Daniken was a Swiss author of several pseudo-scientific books which made claims about extraterrestrial influences on early human culture, including the best-selling Chariots of the Gods, published in 1968. He died January 10th at the age of 90. David John Justy Jr. was an American professional baseball player who played as a right-handed pitcher from 1962 to 1977 for the Houston Colt 45s, Astros, Pittsburgh Pirates, St. Louis Cardinals, Oakland Athletics, and Chicago Cubs. He died January 10th at the age of 86. Richard James Cody was an American politician who served 3 times as the governor of New Jersey, despite never being elected to the position. He died at his home in Roseland, New Jersey on January 11, 2026, at the age of 79, following a brief illness. Thomas Causey was an American sound engineer who was nominated for an Academy Award in the category Best Sound for the film Dick Tracy in 1990. He died January 11th at the age of 76. Louis Eugene Bruss, an American chemist and co-discoverer of the colloidal semiconductor nanocrystals known as quantum dots, and was awarded a Nobel Prize in Chemistry, died of cancer on January 11, 2026, at the age of 82. Karen Virginia Vold, an American trick rider who was inducted into the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in 1978, died January 12 at the age of 86. Len Jacoby, one half of the Jacoby & Myers law firm, who made advertising the norm for lawyers and built a company with 150 offices across the U.S., died on January 11, 2026, at the age of 83. John Forte, an American rapper and record producer, best known for his collaborations with the Fugees, A Tribe Called Quest, and Busta Rhymes, was found dead at his home in Chilmark, Massachusetts on January 12, 2026. He was 50. Douglas Jean McConnell, an American television journalist who focused on environmental issues, died January 13, 2026, at the age of 80. Claudette Colvin, pioneer in American history, who helped to push much-needed change in civil rights, died January 13, 2026, at the age of 86. Scott Adams, the cartoonist who satirized corporate absurdity in Dilbert, died January 13, 2026, at 68 from metastatic prostate cancer. Kenneth Ian Morris, an English musician and painter who was the first studio drummer for the band Susie and the Banshees, died January 15th following a short illness. Raymond Hayes Crone, an American professional baseball player with stints in Milwaukee, New York, and San Francisco, died January 15th at the age of 94. Terrence Donald Chet Brooks, an American professional football player who played 3 seasons with the San Francisco 49ers of the National Football League, died from cancer on the 16th of January 2026 at the age of 60. Mark Robert Jones, an American screenwriter and director and producer in both film and television, died 1 day shy of his 73rd birthday on January 16, 2026. Roger Ailes, the visionary animator and director, best known for co-directing Disney's The Lion King, died Saturday, January 17, 2026, in Santa Monica, California. He was 76 years old. Phil Goyette, the elegant playmaker who won 4 Stanley Cups with the Montreal Canadiens and served as the first head coach of the New York Islanders, died January 17, 2026, at the age of 92. Dr. Gladys West, the pioneering mathematician whose modeling of the Earth's shape laid the foundation for GPS, died Saturday, January 17, 2026, at the age of 95. Wilbur Wood, left-handed knuckleballer who became a Chicago White Sox icon, died Saturday, January 17, 2026, in Burlington, Massachusetts, at the age of 84. George Borchardt, the legendary literary agent who bridged the gap between French literature and American readers and brought us the book Night by Elie Wiesel, died on January 18, 2026, at his home. He was 97. Stephen Hess, a preeminent presidential historian and prolific author whose insights illuminated the inner workings of the White House for over half a century, died Sunday, January 18th at the age of 92. Harold Kenneth Edgerton was an American Southern civil rights activist known for his defense of the Southern Confederate cause and the Confederate battle flag. He died peacefully in his sleep on January 18th at the Charles George VA Medical Center in Asheville after a prolonged illness. Valentino Garavani, the last emperor of high fashion who left an indelible mark on the world of couture, died Monday, January 19, 2026, in Rome. Known simply as Valentino, he defined Italian elegance for nearly half a century with his signature Valentino Red and a steadfast dedication to opulent femininity. David Frederick Schmidt, an American professional baseball catcher who played part of one season in Major League Baseball for the Boston Red Sox in 1981, died January 19th at the age of 69. Ronald Joseph was an American pair skater who competed with his sister, Vivian Joseph. They were the 1964 Olympic bronze medalists, 1965 world silver medalists, and 1965 North American champions. He died January 20th, 2026, at the age of 81. On January 20th, Rob Hurst, the explosive drummer and songwriter whose rhythms drove the political heart of the band Midnight Oil, died at the age of 70. Hurst passed peacefully following a brave 3-year battle with pancreatic cancer. Barbara Ehrenstein Black, a trailblazing scholar who shattered one of legal academia's highest glass ceilings as the first woman to lead an Ivy League law school, died January 20th in Philadelphia. She was 92. Rifat al-Assad, the younger brother of former Syrian President Hafez al-Assad and a central figure in the regime's iron-fisted rule, died Tuesday, January 20, 2026, at the age of 88. A powerful military commander, he led the feared defense companies and was widely held responsible for the brutal 1982 Hama massacre, which killed thousands and earned him infamy. Kevin Johnson, the former NFL defensive lineman who played 3 seasons in the NFL, was found murdered January 21, 2026, at a homeless encampment in Los Angeles where he was believed to be living. Virginia, or Ginny Oliver, the legendary lobster lady and Maine's oldest active lobsterman, passed away January 21, 2026, at the age of 105. Floyd, or Uncle Floyd Vivino, the beloved comedian and pianist who became a New Jersey cultural icon, died on January 22, 2026, at age 74. Guy Hovis, the velvet-voiced singer, best known as half of the beloved Guy and Ralna duo on The Lawrence Welk Show, died Thursday, January 22, 2026, in Oxford, Mississippi, at age 84. Francis Buchholz, the German bassist who anchored the Scorpions during their rise to global superstardom, died January 22, 2026, following a private battle with cancer. He was 71. Yvonne Lime Feddersen, the spirited actress and devoted humanitarian, died Friday, January 23, 2026, at the age of 90. She was best known as the girl who charmed Michael Landon in the 1957 cult classic I Was a Teenage Werewolf. John Brody, the legendary San Francisco 49ers quarterback and 1970 NFL MVP, died Friday, January 23, 2026, at the age of 90. Ota Zaremba, the Czech weightlifting champion who captured gold at the 1980 Moscow Olympics before exposing the physical toll of state-sponsored doping, died Friday, January 23, 2026, at the age of 68. Cause of death was not given. Alexis Ortega, the celebrated Mexican voice actor, best known for defining the Latin American Spanish voice of Spider-Man, died January 24, 2026, at the age of 38. Cause of death was not announced. Sal Buscema, the legendary Marvel Comics artist, affectionately known as Our Pale Sal, died January 24th at the age of 89. He's best remembered for his marathon 10-year run on The Incredible Hulk and a definitive 8-year tenure on the spectacular Spider-Man. Dr. William H. Fagey, the visionary epidemiologist who engineered the strategy to eradicate smallpox and went on to lead the Centers for Disease Control, died January 24th at the age of 90. Jeffrey Mason, best remembered for his poise as the coordinating producer during the 1972 Munich Olympics hostage crisis, died January 25, 2026, in Naples, Florida. He was 85. Gabe Lopez, the Emmy-nominated songwriter and producer whose infectious pop anthems defined the sound of RuPaul's Drag Race, died January 25, 2026, following a battle with lymphoma. Chuck Lefley, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion and tenacious NHL forward, died on Monday, January 26, 2026, in Grosse Isle, Manitoba. He was 76. Lowell Sly Dunbar, the pioneering drummer who shaped the sound of reggae as one half of the legendary rhythm section, Sly and Robbie, died January 26 at the age of 73. Glendon Thomas, the dynamic Oklahoma Sooners running back who powered the program to back-to-back national championships, died of pneumonia on January 26 at the age of 90. Peter James Napolitano, better known by the stage name Produce Pete, was an American grocer, chef, and celebrity spokesperson who was perhaps best known for his weekly fruit and vegetable segments on local TV in New York and Philadelphia. He died January 26 at the age of 80. Bradley Alexander Branson, an American professional basketball player who played forward for 2 seasons in the NBA and then played for over a decade in Europe, died January 27th at the age of 67. Shirley Raines, the radiant force of compassion, known affectionately as Miss Shirley, passed away on January 27, 2026 at the age of 58. Cause of death has not been released. James Salas, who authored Drive, which went on to be a major Hollywood movie, died January 27th in Phoenix at 81 following an extended illness. Robert Scott Laidlaw, an American professional football player with the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants, died January 29, 2026 at the age of 72. Comedy icon Catherine O'Hara passed away peacefully on January 30, 2026 at her Los Angeles home following a brief illness. She was 71. X.J. Kennedy, the celebrated poet, editor, and anthologist who proved that formal verse could be both deeply serious and wickedly funny, died January 30th, 2026 at the age of 96. Damon Wilson, the actor, author, and evangelist, best remembered as Lamont Sanford in the iconic 1970 sitcom Sanford and Son, died at his California home on Friday, January 30th, 2026. He was 79. William Billy Bass Nelson, an American musician who was the original bassist for Funkadelic and a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted in 1997, died January 31st at the age of 75. Ifunanya Dwangena, a rising star and former contestant in The Voice Nigeria, died January 31st, 2026 at age 26 after being bitten by a snake in her home. Thanks for catching up with us. Be sure to subscribe for celebrity obituaries as they happen and a daily celebrity birthday shout-out, plus celebrity biographies and more.